Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. In the last episode, Mizuka Irei attempted to dissuade Kaito Yashio from collecting and distributing all of the Kimijima reports. But as it turns out, the only report that she managed to get her hands on was report number 1. And because of that, she didn't have the bigger picture that Kaito had. In her heart, she was trying to defend the memory of her best friend Misaki Tsunomiya. But unfortunately, Kaito Yashio's worst fears and those of Ko Kimijima have been realized. For the Kagame Kagame melody played once again. There is only one group out there that would do such a thing, and that is the Committee of 300. And of course, it goes without saying that the incident with the HUGs previously was a field test of their weapon systems. Because once again, with the Kagome Kagome melody playing, the HUGs have once again wrested out of control of those which they are supposed to support and help. And Mizuka Irei was no exception. And despite Kaito's best fervent efforts as well as those of Mizuka herself, it wasn't enough to keep the HUG from literally walking Mizuka Irei off of the cliff. Yeah. Despite all the emotional trauma that Kaito was feeling, not to mention the sudden attack of slow-mo, which inevitably triggered as a result of all this, there are three things we need to do. First is, well, to pretty much find the courage to distribute the first six Kimijima reports to every Pokécom and every center around the world, exposing this. The second is to try and get some genuine answers to so many questions from Misaki Tsunomiya herself. And the third is invariably taking on the Committee of 300 themselves, because once those reports have been distributed across the planet, the shitstorm is really going to hit the fan. But right now, all we can do is wait at the hospital. Is it okay for me to go with them? They're probably going to start pulmonary resuscitation and likely emergency surgery after that. I'd probably just get kicked out if I followed along. Yeah, that seems like that's what would happen. I ask myself how I can be so calm right now as I head for the lobby. I need to contact Mizuka-san's parents and Michi. Yeah. Useless as he is, Michi was a close associate of Mizuka. He needs to know. My head hung low. I stagger into the lobby. And I think our problems are going to get even worse, Kaito. It's past medical exam hours, so nobody should...
Kai?
Except that, while everything was going on at Cape Karakura, Kaito, another tragedy happened. Someone calls to me and I sluggishly raise my head. The lights are off, making the lobby incredibly dim. I can see 3 figures sitting on the sofa. Despite the lighting, I can tell that they're all girls. Two of them are wearing their school uniforms. They're huddled up in the dark. One stands up and looks at me. I immediately recognize them once I inch closer. You should. Akiho and Frau are on the sofa, and sandwiched between them is Junna, covering her face.
なんでみんなここに
Reasons, Kaito. Important reasons. I still haven't told anyone about Mizuka-san's accident.
今までどこ行ってたのよ。
Having problems, that's where we've been.
連絡したのにちっとも繋がらないんだもん。バカ。
We should probably mention what happened with Mizuka. Akiho's voice is all choked up. She grabs me by the hand and pulls me far away from the others.
何があったの
It's serious, Kaito.
アキちゃん
スバルがテスト中に事故で。
な
Subaru was caught in an accident. That he was.
何それどういうこと
Akiho is too overwhelmed. Are you telling me that today of all days, Subaru got into an accident and ended up here too? Yeah, he's in the hospital, alright. Akiho starts crying, so I grab her by the shoulders and shake her lightly.
答えろどうしたんだ事故ってどういうことだ
風で眼蓄痛が転倒して、スバルがその下敷きに。
That's pretty much the long and short of it, Kaito. You're kidding. But she's not.
大丈夫なの
命に別状はないって。
そうよかった
With that said, that relief alone nearly makes me sink to the floor.
でも足がかなりひどい骨折で。
Yeah, he's not out of the woods.
それでジュンがすごく責任感じてて、自分のせいだ自分のせいだって。
And Junna is haunted.
うちもう見てられなくて。
It's all too much for Akiho. If it fell over during testing, that means Junna was operating it. And then of all times it fell on someone. Both of those things must be really hard on Junna.
あのさ本当に単なる事故だったと思う本当に純ちゃんの操縦ミスそれとも風のせいそれ以外の要因っていう可能性は
それ以外ってどういう。
And I was giving Mizuka lip about trying to protect Misaki by turning away from us. But in all fairness, Kaito Yashio was pretty much doing the same thing with Akiho. Trying to keep her out of things while he went off and delved into the world of the Kimijima reports. it's the same deal. We can't, you can't keep leading her like this, Kaito. We're gonna have to tell her the truth.
カゴメカゴメは流れた。
カゴメカゴメ。
そう、ポケゴンから流れたはず。
うん、流れたけど。
God damn it.
でもそれは事故が起きた後だよ。
Yeah, that was the thing. It didn't play when the wind was blowing. In other words, what happened to Subaru was quite literally an accident, not deliberate like what happened with Mizuka. And I don't think that Kagome would have actually interfered with Gunbuild 2's design systems. I think it was deliberately designed for Exco Company's very own patented HUG products.
事故の後。
The mysterious transmission of Kagome and the sound that accompanies it when you answer. I believe them to be a warning system of some kind. There's no doubt that the call was what caused Mizuka-san's HUG to go haywire. So I considered that maybe Model 2 falling over had something to do with the Committee of 300. But it's unrelated.
くそ！
I struck my cheeks. None of that means a damn thing right now. There are other things we need to focus on. For the moment. Much more important things to be thinking about.
カイ。
Yeah, and Akiho is still in the dark.
ねえ、カイはスバルのことを聞いてここに来たの？
You should tell her the truth,
カイに
Kaito.
何度電話しても繋がらなかったから。
I pressed my head against the wall in the hallway. I let out another deep sigh. This day is too much. But we need to get through it.
ね
スバルのご両親がもうすぐ来るはず。
Subaru's father is going to be furious. Not just at him, but at the Robotics Club as well. For getting him involved.
殴られるの覚悟しなきゃね。
Yeah, Subaru's father is a frightening man.
そういうのは俺が代わりに引き受けるよ。
でも部長はうちだし。
Kaiju trying to take one for the team, but
ミッチーは
Akiho's having none of it.
今病院の先生と話してる。
Yeah, there's no way Michi wouldn't be here.
そう。
I need to tell Michi about Mizuka-san. When we return to the lobby, Michi just happens to exit the examination room.
おう、ヤシオ、来たか。
ミッチー、スバルの様子は？
あ、
Yeah. Welcome to the real world, Michi. Welcome to the world of real adulthood. He's apparently already been filled in on the details of the accident. Junna's red, swollen eyes cling to Michi. He takes her gaze and with a stern expression on his face, he sighs lightly.
足の怪我な、かなりひどいみたいだ。
In other words, you might never walk again.
命に別状はない。これは間違いないんだが。
It's what Akiho said.
もしかしたら後遺症が残るかもしれん。
Yeah, and not just physical ones. Does that mean he won't recover?
それ一体どういう。
もう二度とまともに歩けなくなる可能性があるってことだ。
そん
I wish I could say it was okay, Junna, but I can't. This is even worse than what happened before. After hearing Michi's words, Junna covers her face and breaks down into tears again.
私のせいです。
It's not entirely your fault, Junna. I know that's little comfort coming from me. But in reality, yeah, I think, yeah. The burden is on everyone in this situation. Kaito for not being there. Junna, yeah, Junna did get distracted by Frau. Akiho should never really had the club doing tests in such blaring conditions. And then there's Subaru. It was standing right in front of Gumbel 2 to see what was wrong up close. His usual pragmatism and caution set aside for an instant, and it all came tumbling down.
私のせいで。ジュンのせいじゃないよ。
Frau starts rubbing Junna's back in a comforting way. Still, Junna's sobbing doesn't stop.
日高の両親はまだか。
Not yet, Michi.
まだ来てない。
But they will be.
そうか。
Heavy silence settles over us. And it's going to get worse. Much worse. It's then that Michi kneels down on the ground.
お前らすまなかった。
ミッチ。
今回のことは先生の監督不行き届きであり、すべて先生の責任だ。
Well, as refreshing as it is to finally hear you speaking like a proper advisor, Michi, the burden of supervision was on Akiho, not you.
どんな責めも先生が被るつもりではいる。
Michi, it's not your fault. You have a life to lead as well, and besides, once you hear what happened, once you hear the news that you really need to hear.
だがな、そうだとしてもロボ部のことは守れんかもしれん。
Yeah, this goes beyond the Robotics Club being shut down by the likes of Vice Principal Usui way back when. Things have changed drastically. At this rate, I doubt we're going to the expo anytime soon.
もしかすると万博の出展も。
Nobody can say anything. It's hard watching Michi like this. Imagining how the Robotics Club could be devastated in the upcoming storm is an incredibly depressing feeling. As I said before, it's going to get worse once Michi once he learns what happened to Mizuka. He has to know. Akiho's dream of going to the expo feels like a lit candle in the wind.
謝るのはうちの方だよ、ミッチー。迷惑かけてごめんなさい。気が緩んでた。もっと安全管理をちゃんとすべきだった。
Unfortunately, apologies after the fact aren't going to help Subaru get better. That will only come with time. I lend Michi a hand and help him stand up.
ミッチ、実は別件でもう一つ話が。
Might want to get him a chair first. He's gonna need to sit down for this one.
別件？どういうことだ？
I hate to do this to you, Michi. I really do. I jerk my chin to indicate we should go elsewhere. We distance ourselves a bit from Akiho and the others.
単刀直入に言うけど、
Indeed.
水香さんが崖から落ちた。
それは日高の事故に巻き込まれたのか？
No, she wasn't. I shake my head.
全く別。門倉岬でたまたま一緒でさ。
無事なのか？
The answer to that question is no.
おい、まさか。
We tried, Michi, but it wasn't enough.
もしかしたらさ。
Is it really okay to say it? Well, she's either dead or dying in a critical condition. Isn't there still some hope? I don't know, but seeing what went on inside the ambulance left me hopeless. Even so, he should be the one to be at her side. The memory of what happened replays in my mind. The smile Mizuka-san bore in the end is like a knife twisting in my chest. Before I realize it, my eyes are filled with tears.
助からないかもしれない。
And then Michi staggers. She might have seen you as a nuisance, but you were the only other friend Mizuka Ire had besides Masaki Sanomiya Michi. He looks dumbfounded as he falls to one knee and holds his forehead. It's clear how much of a shock this is for him.
でもまだそうと決まったわけじゃ。
Never mind the fact that Kaito is leaving out the fact that probably best not yet to tell Michi about the malfunctioning HUG, but then again, we can't keep it from him forever. Michi stands back up. As far as I can tell, he seems calm. That's unexpected. I thought he'd panic or ask if I'm messing with him. That's the kind of guy I figured him for. Well, silver lining, I think the shock of Subaru's accident may have actually been a positive thing for Michi.
一体何があった？
ハグが急に暴走。
暴走？去年ニュースになってたやつか？
The very same. Yeah. Not completely useless. Not anymore.
水香さんのこと助けられなかった。
He did everything he could, Kaito.
目の前で落ちてったんだ。必死に止めようとしたんだけどダメで。
I think the fact that you tried is what matters. Michi wraps his arm around my shoulders and gives them a gentle squeeze.
よく教えてくれた。ありがとうな。
You deserved it, Michi. You definitely deserved it. Above all
イレーな
else.
ら大丈夫だろう。学生の頃のバイクでやった事故だってな。普通だったら死んでたらしいんだ。
Yeah, but a bicycle accident isn't quite the same as falling onto a bunch of rocks below a cliff.
でもあいつは生きてた。そういうタフな女なんだよ。俺、豆知識ない。
I know you're trying to put on a brave face, Michi. But I don't think that's what we need right now.
とにかく、お前だけでも無事でよかったよ。
Stop it, Michi. Stop acting like such an actual good teacher for once. I've been trying so hard to keep myself together. But now I'm a mess. I just want to break down and cry like a little kid.
イレーの親には連絡したか？
I wipe my tears and shake my head. Michi nods in response. Better if you do it. They know you.
連絡は俺がしておく。お前も少し座って休め。
Michi then leaves me behind. He walks outside by himself. In his heart, he is grieving in his own way. And yet, Michi has finally turned over a new leaf. But what a time for such a revelation. It looked like his shoulders were trembling. Unsurprising. I hope from the bottom of my heart that Mizuka-san survives for Michi's sake too. Very much so. High, Akiho Sonomiya. Outside the window, the rain continues to gently fall. Just looking at the droplets make me feel like I'm going to burst into tears. As This might be odd for me to admit this right here and now, but I've always felt that dark, rainy days have always been sort of grim and miserable myself. Maybe it's just me. It's been 2 days since the accident. 3rd years don't have to come to school today, but I was called here by the Vice Principal. Here we go. I'm apparently going in for an interview. I follow Michi, passes in session, leaving the hallways empty and barren. This was the only dream Akiho had, and with it in tatters. Where else can she go? Michi is acting like everything is completely normal. After spending the entirety of yesterday in my room crying, my face is kind of swollen. I'm still incredibly sad.
失礼します。
I wonder if Usui will notice the change in Michi's demeanor. The newfound resolve that he has now obtained. Michi knocks on the door to my classroom. Needless to say, there are no students inside. Just 4 adults lying in wait. One of them is the Vice Principal. It's been a long time, Usui. I expected that. She's the one who called me after all. But I'm surprised by the other 3 faces. There are 2 people from JAXA, Dad and Night-san. Actually, it's not that surprising that they would be here, Akiho. Oh, as for the 3rd... The 3rd person is Mr. Candy, Sumio Nagafukada himself. I was expecting Subaru's father. They're all people who lent a helping hand to the Robotics Club.
瀬宮さん、そこにお座りなさい。
As I'm told. In front of me is the VP. To the left of her is Nisan, and to the right is Mr. Candy. Dad sits to my left. And Michi sits to my right.
事故のことは聞きました。単刀直入に言いますが、ロボット研究部は今日をもって廃部となります。
Oh, you got your wish. You finally got your wish, Usui, even under these circumstances. And that's all there is to it.
え、いきなりですか?
Surprising to hear this from me of all people, Michi, but going to take your previous sentiments from before and actually give you your own advice of not taking on the Vice Principal in situations like this. Crazy, I know.
京都、生徒に相談もなくそれはさすがに一方的かと。
I don't think Usui is putting this up for discussion or debate, Michi.
ミッチー、いいの？
日高スバル君のお父様が大変お怒りなのです。
Understandable.
わかりますね。
はい。
This goes beyond mere, issues regarding budget funding. Much more. obviously not okay with this. There's nothing I can say in response to her. Not this time. I feel like my head's about to drop even lower. Oh, I can't be like this. I focus, straighten out my back, and look the VP straight in the eyes. This is my responsibility as the club president. I need to accept what happens to us.
JAXA さんとの提携については長深田先生から報告を受けています。ですがロボット研究部が廃部になる以上申し訳ありませんがこれ以上のご協力はいただけません。
はあ、分かっています。
私どもとしましても今回の事故で安全管理を子供たちだけに任せてしまったと強く反省しています。支援業務についてもこれ以上は継続できないと上から言われました。
That's not a surprise either.
当然万博への出展も取りやめです。スペースアメ車さんもそれで問題ありませんね。
残念じゃが仕方ないの。
Yeah. If you gamble, eventually you lose. More than you win.
ロボット研究部で製作したロボットは業者にお願いして全て解体します。いいですね。いいですね。
はい。
There's a sharp pain deep in my chest. I tightly clench my hands, resting on my knees. There'll be nothing left. Out of the club, gun barrel, or anything. It'll be like none of it ever existed. But even if I said no, nothing would change. I don't have the right to object. We did something that cannot be undone.
瀬宮さん。
The Vice Principal glares at me, a fierce expression on her face.
卒業したらきちんとした学校へ行ってきちんと勉強なさい。
Proper school and proper education, huh? How despairingly boring.
そしてもっと技術を身につけてから改めて技術者としてロボットを作ればいいのです。
Now I am slightly intrigued. Am I hallucinating? Or did Vice Principal Usui grant Akiho Sonomiya a compromise?
あなたたちは背伸びをしすぎたんですよ。
You're hardly the one to talk about reaching beyond abilities, Usui.
でも時間はたっぷりあるのですから何も焦ることなどありません。わかりましたね。
はい。
Everything she said was right. I can't find any words to respond with. In fact, all I can do is nod my head. There's no getting out of this one. We have been delivered judgment. And to make matters worse, Mizuka Ire of the general store, the friend of both Misaki Sonomiya and, of course, And of course, Michi. Has passed from this world. Her wounds were too grievous. Mizuka-san's funeral goes by about as solemnly as one might expect. And that is where we're going to end on this tragic note. This episode of Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. So when we return, adventurers, things are very, very grim indeed. As always, until next we meet.